When people say you don't deserve that, I say bullshit. I deserve everything because I started with this.
If you're serious about scaling and want to navigate the challenges of your side hustle journey, this advice from Kevin O'Leary will help you move faster and spot the right opportunities.
And I tell other entrepreneurs, do not be embarrassed about success. Wear it. Own it. It's yours and you deserve it.
People are going to chase you with stuff. You're going to get 1,000 ideas. They're going to call you and ask you to do stuff. If it's not on task for the signal, it's noise. I have a very simple rule to this, and I tell them all when I invest in them. If you're not making money after 36 months, 3 years, you got to take it behind the barn and shoot it. Because it's just a hobby. It's not a business. And everybody says, oh, no. People get so, stuck on a bad idea. They just keep thinking, if I keep working on it, it's going to fix itself. It doesn't fix itself. It was put on your journey to teach you what not to do. That's the whole idea. And if you don't realize the lesson learned, you're fucked. I mean, you're going to spend all your time on some really bad idea and waste it. You got to pivot.
My number one message to entrepreneurs, and I teach today, is never pursue entrepreneurship for the greed of money. It has nothing to do with it at all. The whole reason to be an entrepreneur is the pursuit of freedom. That's why you do it. You do it because you want to be free one day to do whatever you like. I'm here because I want to be here. I don't have to be here. I don't even have to ever listen to a phone call again if I don't want to. That's not what I want to do. I enjoy spending my time doing the things that I want to do. And I deserve it because I worked like hell to get here. And so I'm a huge, advocate of capitalism. I defend entrepreneurship every day. When people say you don't deserve that, I say bullshit. I deserve everything because I started with this. Everything I have, I created myself, and I deserve what I have. And I feel ferociously about that. And I tell other entrepreneurs, do not be embarrassed about success. Wear it. Own it. It's yours and you deserve it.
What do you think is more important for a successful entrepreneur?
Well, if you're hungry for money, I guarantee you'll fail. 100%. If you start into entrepreneurship and on a journey and all you care about is getting rich, you will fail. You will fail miserably. Every entrepreneur, not some, every single one that achieved some massive liquidity event I've talked to, and I've met many of them, they don't even remember, the day it happened. They just woke up and said, oh my goodness, I'm filthy rich. But they weren't calculating for that. It's because they created something of such value that someone else said, well, we want to buy that business. And you own whatever you owned of it. And I tell all my entrepreneurs, this one didn't work. I'll come visit you with a good bottle of wine, and we'll just drink it, and then we'll take this idea behind the barn and shoot it.
You spend a lot of time behind that barn?
Yeah, I have. Not every idea works, but the most important thing is say, look, it's not working. Shoot it. And let's move on. Oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can. I'll do it for you.
It's a rehabilitation home for old people.
You got to shoot it. You have to shoot it. And then you move on to your next idea. And then you only need one to work. Yeah. You only need one. You get a winner, you go through the roof.
I mean, I'm not sure how you're going to take this story, but I'm going to tell it to you anyways, okay? End of a class, 9 at night, 600 people. There's a fellow up at the top puts up his hand and say, Mr. O'Leary, look, I have to ask you a question. I haven't said anything all class, but I'm really hurting. Can you help me? And I said, what's your problem? Class goes dead silent because it's not going to be about business. And he said, today, my fiancée came to me and said that I have to make a decision between our relationship and the business. And I said, oh, I'm not Dr. Phil here, but let's hear it. This guy had, in his dorm room in undergrad engineering, built an online cloud-based compliance tool for hedge funds with under 250 million to help them reduce their costs. It's a subscription service. The guy had a run rate of $5 million. He hadn't even graduated yet. I'm licking my chops at this business. This is fantastic. And then he said, but I have no time. And I never see my fiancée. She wants me to come be with the family on Sundays just once. But I'm doing my compliance downloads on Sundays and I have to deal with my customers because I got to be back in class at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Now the class is looking at me saying, okay, big guy, what's the answer? I said, everybody, let's be pragmatic. Which is easier to replace? Your business or your fiancé? And the shit hit the fan with that. But let me ask you something. Clearly that match was not right, because if you're going to get into a relationship with an entrepreneur, man or woman, it doesn't matter. You have to understand what drives them. It's not going to be a successful union. It's not going to work. I think he made the right decision.
Being an employee never has a good outcome. Would you like to elaborate on that?
A really good employee ends up with equity because they're so invaluable you don't want to lose them. And that's the right way to look at it. They're either partners or they're costs. So what happens to employees and companies? The minute they're hired, there's somebody in that organization trying to figure out how to fire them. That's what's going on. That's what happens in all companies because they're costing money for the shareholders. And I think you have to be realistic. So if you're an employee, you have to make sure you get up every morning and create value in the business you're in, or you're going to get fired. I don't measure someone's value by how rich they are. That means nothing to me. So, people that say, oh, I'm really, really rich, I don't give a shit. Like it's how you, what are you doing with your time to help others succeed? How do you help entrepreneurs? If you have made a lot of money, you should pass it forward. You can afford to invest in other entrepreneurs. You can do a lot of things that you might enjoy, but it never really changed anything. I mean, it won't matter if I quadruple what I've got, It's not going to change anything. Over time, people change sort of their momentum and their motivation. But if you think that you can calculate the exit and that somehow you can start a business because you're going to sell it and make a lot of money, you will fail 100%. It's the second issue you talked about. It's the passion of loving what you do and getting up every day and willing to work 25 hours a day, 8 days a week because you love it so much and you love to compete. That's how you become free. It's about not about the pursuit of capital. It's the pursuit of freedom, personal freedom. I don't have to work anymore. I work harder than I ever have. I really enjoy what I do. I love to compete. I love to do what we're doing right now, talking about this so that others may learn from my mistakes. But the whole idea is personal freedom. That is the American dream. And you have to set your course on that. And there's one attribute you need to pull that off. And I've taught so many people. It's the ability to differentiate the signal from the noise every minute of the day. People are going to chase you with stuff. You're going to get 1,000 ideas. They're going to call you and ask you to do stuff. If it's not on task for the signal, it's noise. It's noise. And you have to just push it aside. Those are the great entrepreneurs. They don't deal with the noise.